Good afternoon, guys. I'm going to discuss about optional parameters, URL parameters basically. So here, what is URL parameters is, suppose I created one controller like a name and text box and button search. So when a user enter a specific characters, something like MA, and when you click on search, so we're going to get this list of students with the starting with letter MA. I'm going to display a separate page. So when I click on submit a search button, it should show a separate page, subsequent page in the existing website. So it should show the list of students started with letter MA. Suppose if user doesn't enter anything and when I click on search, then we have to should display all the student details. So when user enter search parameter here and when you try to click on search, so in the URL it will be in URL we are passing the parameter value as well. So that's why we call as a optional URL parameters. Whether you can pass the parameter or without parameter, it should work as expected. If you're not passing the parameter and click on submit search, then we should get all the list of students. If you search for a specific character something like MA and when you click on search, then we should get the list of students which are starting with letter MA. So for doing this, so we have to create a view name is student search, and we have to create a controller, and we have to create a route as well. We have to create a web method for getting the student details based on the name. So first we can we can write a method, web method as get students by name. So we have to pass the name of the parameter, name as a parameter, and we have to get the list of students which are matching with the name. So that we used to call that as we can write as a connection architecture, and used to get all the list of parameter list of data using SqlCommand, and execute reader will get all the list of students based on the name of the parameter which is passed from the front end, and we'll loop it and we'll add this to the list of students, and we are binding this to object to the JavaScript serializer. This is web method. Next, we have to modify the students controller. So here we have to add one button. So when click on search button, so search button in the students page, we have to call this function and load a specific URL. So if we have a name, if user enter a specific name in the text box and click on search, we're calling this function. So this function, what happen is, so when user enters a specific name, and then if it has some value, then we are reloading the URL with the student search and with the name of the parameter. The name of the student start with the specific letter. And if user doesn't enter anything, then we should call the student search and without having naming parameter. And next one is, we have to modify the student's HTML page, and we have to pass this one text box. This input type is text, and here we have to pass as a model. So model is nothing but like we have the students controller dot name. So this name is passing to the a function that is defined here. Function defined here. And when user click on search, we have to do some action, perform an action is a student search action. So that is calling from here. Next one is we have to create a new controller, that is a student search controller, and it has we are passing the parameters to get the specific data. So we have to include the route parameters service, and if you are having a specific parameter, there is name, then we have to call this web method. If you're not passing any parameter value from front end by user, then we just call this all the students web method and load the data. So there are things to be done. Next one, we have to add a route as well. So this route will basically it will find out when user navigating a specific URL, then we are passing a we are passing parameter. This question mark is including whether we are passing a value or without having value. So if you're not passing a value, then uh, we should mention as a question mark. And template URL is what is the view we are navigating to, and what is the controller, the name of the controller we are defining here, and alias name you provided here, the search student search CTRL. This is a route defined. Then we have to implement a page name as student search.html. So here we are displaying a table. So we have the data into the students object. So with the control alias name dot students object, here we are looping it and we'll display in the a table, the list of data of students data. So going to Visual Studio and just add this information. Just add this method in web service. I added the method successfully. Then I had to modify the controller, the students controller. Just add this function, students, sorry, this is students controller. Just add this. So this function is used to load a specific page with the passing parameters. So this function is called into the students view. You can add this into the students.html. Just here it's not finding the specific element, just replace with the so this text is copied from one node. We had some specific the some special characters inserted here. That's the reason HTML is not finding. So in order to resolve this, then you have to put a space and replace this. So this is resolved. Control KD. This is resolved. So here I define a text box and passing a modal that accept the name as a parameter, and when I click on a button, then I should call the function to reload the page. That is defined in the script.cs. This is a function. Save this. Then define a controller. So this is the controller, new controller for student search. The student search control is defined here. If you pass the URL with the parameters, then we'll call one web method, else we'll get all the students, another web method. Next, when we have to define a route, this route having the like when user navigating the student search and with the parameter value, and question mark is we can either you can pass as empty value as well, so it will accept the empty value. Then we have to define that which is a page to be displayed and which is a control to be called, and get the functional as requirement. So this is done. Then we have to create a new, this is a this is a view need to be created. This is a student search, this is a view to be created. Copy this, create a template HTML page. Still adding. So here we can just replace this with this content here. Some special node is added because of a copy from one node, replace with this the empty space, and able to resolve the issues in HTML. Control KD to align and save this. Here I have the object that is coming from the student search controller, and thus that will be loaded with all the controllers using ng repeat in a table. Save this and save all and build application and see the output. Go to students page. It's taking time to load the list of students here. Yeah, it's loaded now. So when I search for MA, click on search. Nothing is happening. Wait, put a breakpoint here. Wait, see this method is same or not. Let's go, let's refresh the page. Press M, A, and click on search. Let's see, press F12, find out any errors are there. Yeah, some error is there. Error is location is undefined. Custom scripts. Let's see this. See, this location is not, this location service is not here, added here. That's the reason I'm getting error. Let's add this, save this, and just refresh by press F5. Just put MA and click for search. I did not get any data, but some error is there. Let's see. Go back. Search again. Repeat, repeat, oops. Some error is throwing now. Ouch. What is this error? Just comment this. Refresh the page. MA. Something problem. Put a breakpoint here. Put a breakpoint here. Let's go. Press MA and search for. Nothing is happening. Some problem in the route. Four errors. And repeat. Oops. And I think this is missed out. Just rebuild a solution. Just trying to figure out where the problem it is. Nothing is happening. Student search. is why this is not hitting the breakpoint here. Put a breakpoint here. Just build the solution. Browse. GetStudentsByName. Press ML. Let's see that whether I will get the data. So I will get the data. Let's close this. Set as a start page. Click on students. Yeah, breakpoint is hitting. Press F5. Then press MA search. It's not hitting this point. Students by name. We are not getting any data. Why this method is not calling? Student search. Go to F12 plus F12. J repeats dupes. What is this header? Let's search in Google. So the problem is service name is wrong. So I corrected this. Now I am able to see the output. Earlier it is student service, but I corrected to student service. S is missing. Just go to the output. Students search. I will get all the records. Search for a specific keyword, then I will get only a specific list of records. Thank you.